Okay, so welcome back to another Bitwig tutorial, and in this one we need to talk about the vibrato. So we're going to use some MIDI, but first I need to tell you what the vibrato means. Maybe you don't know, maybe you're starting and you don't know. So if you don't know, I'm going to show you what it is right now. And if you know, maybe you're going to need to move forward on this video, but I'm going to explain. So I'm going to go right here and give you a test tone. So this is a device that we get on Bitwig called test tone. You can bring it right here. So this one, what it will do, will give you a tone right here. We can decide where we want to put this tone. I'm gonna go and maybe leave it right there. And for now, I'm gonna go right here and just delete this one. So, okay, so what we want to do with the vibrato is, what it's going to do is going to grab whatever frequencies you're playing, which would be a chord, whatever, and it's gonna move it up and down in pitch. It's gonna move the pitch up and down. So if I do it manually with the mouse, I'm gonna go with the mouse. It's gonna do something like this. Of course, you can go really aggressive, but this is what it does. It's just going to go up and down in pitch. This is what a vibrato is. Now, you must not confuse vibrato with tremolo. Tremolo, it does this. It goes up and down in volume. So that's what tremolo is. So vibrato is going to go up and down in pitch. It's going to do something like this. So we get this modulator to do that behavior. So we can go up and down in something. So again, with the vibrato, by default in history of synthesizers, we do it with the pitch, but we can modulate other things. In this case, I'm just going to do the pitch. So this is how fast you're going to go. But first, we need to kind of sync, or we need to map this to the sine wave. So I'm going to go and do maybe something like that. So this is how much we're going to move. Now, right now, notice that we still get nothing. So it's because you're going to need to go right here and decide how you're going to move. In this case, I'm going to do manual. And when you go to manual, this one is going to be the mix control, or the amount control. So if I go all the way up, we are going back and forward in pitch by a lot. And if I go down, we're just going to get a tiny bit. All right. So of course, you can go right here and decide how fast you're going to go. And here you have a visual representation of how fast and how slow you're going to go. If I go very slow, it's just very slow. If I go super fast, super fast. Now, of course, right here you have the control of the curve, which is going to be a sine wave, or you can go more on a kind of a triangle wave. All right, so pretty simple so far. Just very simple. Now you have all the ways of controlling this. You can do pressure, which is the aftertouch of your MIDI keys. In this case, I don't have one. And then you have the mod wheel, and the mod wheel is going to be the mod wheel of your MIDI controller. Right now, I'm going to use my mod wheel of my MIDI controller. I'm going up and down, of course. So this is equal to going into manual and doing this with the mouse. But instead of using the mouse, you're just using the mod wheel. Because by history, we do this with the mod wheel on a synthesizer. All right, so that's it. So that's what it does. Now I'm going to go and just move on from this one. I'm going to close, and I'm going to go here, and maybe going to go and put the spectrum after this one. And I'm going to go and just play some sounds. I'm going to go and give you a synthesizer. This is the sound of my synthesizer. Pretty dumb sound. Just doing some chords. So again, we want to achieve that vibrato sound. So I'm going to go and do the vibrato. Okay. So we get that, we get the same thing. And I'm going to go down on this one and down on this one, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So I'm going to go, instead of using the mod wheel, I'm going to do manual, and I'm going to disable the retrigger. Of course, we're going to talk about this in a minute. So remember, what we want to do, we want to go up and down in pitch, right? That's by default what the vibrato is. So I'm going to go to the pitch. And notice I'm doing just a tiny bit, and we can hear and we can see on the spectrum this one moving back and forth. And if I do more, of course, it's going to get crazy. Now, of course, when you do crazy, remember that you can go and do just a tiny bit with this one. And you're still going to get that movement. Right? Let's go crazy. All right, so remember, you can go fast or you can go slow. We already talked about this one. You can enable your mod wheel. Right? Just with the mod wheel. Right, something like that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to manual. So, okay, so we already know how this works, how everything works. Now what I want to do, I'm gonna go crazy so we can see right here the envelope, and I'm gonna go very slow. So notice that this is starting at some point. It is going from the beginning till the end and then, restarting again. It doesn't matter if you're playing MIDIs or anything, or we stop, nothing. It's just going on a straightforward fashion. So this is the Retrigger. So whenever we enable, this means that whenever we play a new MIDI key, this is going to restart. And I'm gonna go super slow. Notice that this is restarting whenever we play a new key. So that's what the Retrigger is going to do. Okay, so let me show you what these controls are going to do, because they're a little bit confusing, and not confusing, but they work on a different way if you have the Retrigger or you have the poly or, anything else. So I'm going to go and go really aggressive on this one. So by default, it's going to sound like this, but I'm going to go and do Retrigger. So this means that every time that we are playing a new key, it's going to pretty much start over from the beginning. So this one, what it will do, it will delay the motion. So I'm gonna go and play it. Notice we get the chord in 8 seconds, or 1 second, not 8, 1 second after, and only after we get the sound in the motion. And it's going from 0 to 100. We get nothing when it starts, and then it goes. So pretty simple. It's just a waiting. In this case, let's go 1.5 seconds, and then we get the vibrato. Pretty simple. Now, the transition from no vibrato to vibrato is pretty harsh. So with this one, we get the fade in mode. So this one is going to fade the vibrato in. So I'm gonna go and do it 1 second, and notice that the vibrato right now, it's not super aggressive. It's kind of slowly entering. So this is what this does. It's gonna fade in the effect. And we can disable this. And this is still gonna do it, of course. So if I go really aggressive, it's gonna take 8 seconds. So maybe it's too much. I'm gonna go 3 seconds. And we can really hear what it's doing. Alright. So that's it. That's the whole thing. We're gonna talk about this poly in a second. But right now with this one, we can go crazy. Well, we can do some other things. By default, in history, we use the pitch, but what if I don't want to do the pitch? I want to do something else, right? I just want to do something else. So of course we can do it. So I'm gonna go maybe go right here. And maybe do the resonance. We can even do the sync if you wanted to. Do the unison. Maybe do a little bit of noise. And maybe if it's going too hard or too fast, we can slow it. We can even do this. Right, so pretty cool. We don't have to just do pitch. Alright, so cool. So now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put something else, and I'm gonna show you this chords. And let me just show you first what we have right here. So this is a MIDI clip. In this case, I'm playing one key, and after a little while, I'm just pressing a new key and then a new key. And of course, I'm still holding the previous keys, all right? And then I just repeat the same thing. It's the same chords, but in a different fashion. So this one, what it can do, it can go into poly mode. And now you can see that something else is going to happen right here. So I'm going to go and play it. So every time we play a key is going to be a voice. So 1 voice, 2 voices, 3 voices, and then the same thing. So each voice, each following a different instructions. Notice that the tiny balls right here are just a little bit different. If I go slower, notice that they follow a different thing. And it's because each voice starts on a different place. This one starts later and this later. So they start on a different place. So each voice is going to get a different movement. That's what the poly means. Maybe I'm gonna go a little bit more aggressive. Alright. Now, of course, sometimes you're gonna get a better sound if you do something else. So I'm gonna go and bring an ARP and just gonna go. This is with the vibrato, you know what we've been doing. So maybe if I disable this, this is the normal sound, which is not very pleasing. I like this one much better. And notice all the things you're doing. It's just very simple what we're doing. We are not doing a lot. Now I'm going to disable the poly, and it's going to be very different. So, and notice that we are doing a retrigger. So maybe if I disable it, we're going to get more motion. So of course, you need to do a little bit of experimentation right here. As I go faster, whenever you have the retrigger, of course, everything is gonna, the balls are just gonna go to from 0 to 100% much faster, so you're gonna get, more movement. If it goes super slow, well, you're not gonna get a lot because you notice that the balls are just restarting. Alright, and we're just not doing much, right? So that's it. This is what the vibrato is going to do. So in this case, you can use the vibrato just to add a little bit of, vibrato, just with the pitch, which is what we've been doing for ages. Or maybe you just can use it for something else. That's what's so cool about the modulator, right? All right. So hopefully you learned something on this one. Remember to like and subscribe, and remember to check Patreon. So see you on the next one.